to dye mesh tie-dye it, which this mesh is 92% nylon and 8% spandex. So you can't use regular tie-dye methods, you have to use an acid dye. And I wanted to do this video because I did a lot of trial and error until I found some YouTube videos about yarn from ChemKnits, and it gave me how to basically fumble along and do it. I have another yard and a half of white mesh that I want to dye black and red. I'm probably not going to do the white banding. I'll do one or two just to show, but mostly I just want the black to red, the red to black. I have 3 different reds that I'm going to use and 1 black. I forgot to pull it out of the sink. So I have it damp. It's not too drippy, but it's wet, and it's just regular tap water wet. So I want it to be not completely dry and not sopping wet. It's probably still a little more wet than I would like, but it's okay. It's not too bad. I use this pan, which is, I can't remember what they're called, but they're like a serving tray, and you can keep them warm. You can heat the bottom of it. So I use that. I am also using, with my dye, I'm using Dharma acid dye. The colors are Fire Engine Red, Oxblood, and Cayenne Red. And then the black is Toner Black. You can either use vinegar, or since I'm doing it more like putting it on dry, I am using citric acid to keep the dye dry. Sorry, not dye. From last night, I still have some of it. It is literally a powder. I did like a little scoop of the citric acid and a scoop of the dye, and I used my daughter's Easter egg dyeing kits that we had from last year. Still, I don't know why we had them, but they worked perfect. This one's Cayenne Red, Fire Engine Red because it's more of a true red. I put it in pink, Oxblood, orange Oxblood, black blue. And that should probably honestly be enough. I will put more activator, or not activator, I'm calling it activator like it's slime, citric acid in the water as I fill it up to boil, steam. It's not a rolling boil, but it is letting off steam. Okay, so now I'm going to arrange it. Now I found, these are like my daughter's like mini rubber bands. I found that these, after a while in the heat, break. So they pop off, but that's okay because the color's mostly already absorbed by the time that they started like breaking and melting, and they didn't affect the fabrics. Whatever didn't melt on them. They just broke open and like got hard. You could use regular rubber bands. I have a bunch of them, really long ones. I am going to do a hole of 2 spots. And you just do it like regular tie-dyeing and find a spot. I'm going to go down about yay far. I'm doing it at an angle, so this is the point of one side. I'm going to do it at an angle because I don't want necessarily a straight line. When I'm done wrapping this around, which will take me a second. This is going to be a long tutorial, and I apologize. I will pull some, so it kind of makes it curved. I'm going to pull a piece here and a piece there, so it pulls it out of the straight line that it kind of gets. And I didn't really want it too fussy because I want it to look a little less like a snake. Because I didn't pull those as much. I only pulled like 1 or 2, and the 2 that I pulled, or the one that I pulled for sure, looks fabulous. I loved it. I loved the way it looked. So just take a piece and pull it back out, and it'll make the line kind of wavy. And it'll really mess up the straightness, hopefully. That's my hope anyways. And then I'm going to do it to the other side. So here's a corner again. I'm going to go about yay far down. Get another rubber band. Smaller than that, preferably. Yeah, there's a purple one. put it on again as it fights me. It doesn't want to. Sorry, my personality. Okay, do it fairly tight. Tighter it is, the more white you have, looser it is, the less white. But what was really cool is the ones that were a little bit looser. Let me see if I can find one. Oh, here. It's like a black line. And it's really awesome. So I kind of like that. You can see that. See that black line? Instead of it all being white, it's black. Like the black absorbed into the line. So, we'll do that one more time. Actually, no, we'll leave it there. That was probably tight enough. I'm going to grab the centerpiece and kind of tug it out. I'm going to grab a side piece over here, about there, tug it back the other way, and hope that it works. I'm still experimenting. I only had one successful. My daughter just asked for some candy. Trial. My first tester piece came out all black. I used way too much color, but that was the one rubber band I put in it, and look how fabulous that looks. But I used too much color. So I'm going to take it. And last time I did it this way and zigzagged it. This time I'm going to go long way and zag it this way. Zigzag it that way. So I've had more than a yard and a half. Oh no. Oops, I got that. If I had more than a yard and a half, I already got a little black on it. Whoops. I would probably need a bigger pan. This is a half size of the serving pans. Let me get a water. So I also, because I'll be using dry ingredients, I need a wet rag, or I'm going to get wet paper towels, put it on the side, and then some dry ones, because I need to wipe my hands off and dry them, go into the next color, wet my hand, or clean my hand off and dry it, go into the next color, so that the colors don't get muddy. And I forgot to prep it beforehand, so I'm just going to do it now. Not super wet, but wet enough. I have towels, or I have gloves. Gloves are super important. More paper towels, the better. I'm going to move this so I don't accidentally dye it. And I'm going to set my paper towels. I'll end up kind of being on top of, but I'm still right there. Switch that. Alright, let's get started. My hands are still a little damp, so it's going to be a pain in the butt to put gloves on. Note to self, dry them off better. So, I try to clip this and make my glove struggle non-existent, but I am not a YouTube aficionado. I'm just doing this because I couldn't find anything, so I wanted to share it on one of my Facebook pages that I'm on that does spandex, and always where I go for information, and I couldn't find anything specific to tie-dyeing or multicoloring. You can also do this in ombre, which is actually kind of what I'm going for, is a little bit of ombre this time around. So I've decided, other than the 2 rubber bands, I'm going to do the black last. But I will do the 2 rubber bands because I found with this one that the red absorbed into it and it made it kind of pink. And I actually don't want pink for this costume. I am making a solo costume for my daughter, Runaway to Mars. And she wants to be from Mars. So she wants it red and black. My youngest is very much so into red, black, and gray for her solo costumes. It's fabulous. It's great. I love their different personalities with this. Okay, so just take a little pinch. I'm going to sprinkle it And I'm going to sprinkle it here also. And that's it. That's the amount that I'm going to use. I will afterwards actually take and I'm going to I'm going to flip it over again and then redo the other side. But I will also take paper towels and sop up any extra color so that there's not too much color, so the water goes, like the water will go muddy anyways, but like if there's too much, then it'll all go black or all red or something. It'll go the darkest color. I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna rub it. Okay, so there's some of the citric acid in there and the dye. It's okay that there's some right here. That's fine. It's gonna happen, and that actually just adds to the blending and that kind of cool mix of colors that I'm going for. So I'm even taking and I'm going ahead. I'm trying to do the bottom too. Now my hands are wet, so I can't just reach back into the dye. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna wipe it a little when I dry it up. Make sure that my hands are more dry than that. And then I'm gonna grab a pinch actually more. And I'm gonna do the underside. The other one I had enough that it went all the way around. This one I did not. That's okay. Okay, so that one's ready or good to go. Now we're gonna do the reds. So my thought process is I'm gonna do, so since I went like this, I'm going to do a red, a red, a red. Then I'm gonna do little sprinkles of like a little black here, a little black there, but not a lot of it because the black tends to spread. And I'm gonna do it over the red. So I'm gonna try to cover a lot of it, and I might only do the black to one side. I'm going to use cayenne first. So, and my thought process, because it zigged and zagged, is that I will have this red everywhere, and it'll go and be not just on one side, it'll be on multiple sides. And that's okay. Do a little bit more right there. Okay, so just that much. It wasn't very much. Like I have way too much in my container, but and then I'll kind of mix after I get the initial shot of reds in. I'm gonna deviate. I can't stick to a plan to save my life. I'm gonna deviate, and I'll probably add a little of the other reds everywhere. But I want a base of this red right here, base of that red, base of that red. I don't want to get it wet. My gloves are, well, hard to get on, or a little too big. Okay, and we will have to flip this, and I'll have to do the other side too. But that was the cayenne red, and there is definitely some differences in the colors, and it's really cool. Okay, that one, maybe I want a little bigger spot of the cayenne red, because I think this was my favorite color. Kind of pulled a red. It was either that or it was fire engine, but I know it wasn't blood red. Blood red was a lot deeper. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit more in that way. Be super happy with the amounts of all the colors. Okay. And then this one, I think I'm going to do fire engine next. Gotta wipe the color off your hands. It's the best that I can. Make them at least dry. Okay. My daughters. Okay, and this is the fire engine red. And I will do fox blood next. Over there. That should be good. Okay. So I'm getting over a cold, so my voice sounds terrible. But my daughters are watching YouTube right now and coming over here because I've never recorded a video before, and so they're wondering what's going on. So this is more of an orange red, this is more of a red, and now we'll do, you know what, I'm going to do a little bit more of the red. So, you okay? Your eyes still hurt? Okay, you need to go get the rag and get a hot water on there, okay? It is what it is, I'm a mom. They can't see you. Alright, let's do the ox blood now. So I thought it was really cool. The Chemnitz woman, who I'm terrible with names, she keeps a yarn as her cleaning. So then that yarn, so she doesn't waste a lot of color. And the yarn becomes its own creative, unique thing. But that's not what I'm going to do. This is the ox blood. And so this has definitely like a more purple tinge to it, I think. First I thought it was, it's brown, but like it pulled a lot of purple. Like, because I used a lot more of the ox blood than I did the other color, but maybe that was the black. So we'll find out now because I won't be using as much black. So we'll find out. But I did notice when it interacted with the black, it turned a lot of purple. But, and I thought it was going to turn more dry blood, rusty blood color. Okay. All right, I've decided I'm not going to put any more black on this side. I'm going to flip it before I put the black on. And yeah, there's still going to be some white showing, as you can see, but I want that on purpose. I'm going to squish it up. I'm going to try to just flip it without too much disturbing, and then I'm going to I have the color on my hand. I forgot to wipe, but well, it wouldn't matter too much. I mean, it wouldn't matter a little bit, but I forgot. It just will add to the mix. It's fine. Especially since I didn't choose to add any black on that side. Okay, so this side is the cayenne. This was the fire engine, and this was the ox blood. So here we go again. And this time I will put some black. Shouldn't touch that yet. I'm impatient. I always want to just start working the color in because it activates it. Okay, now we're gonna really start working that in, get the color to release and start showing and spreading. And that's why you need it a little damp, but I don't want it too damp because I don't want the colors to run and just muddy together. Because after I get all the color on, I'm gonna let it set for 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'm going to put a little bit of water. I'm not even going to heat it yet. Put a little bit of water, let it sit. Put a little bit more water, let it sit 5 more minutes. And then after the second one, I'm going to put it on the stove. And we're going to, it almost starts heating like immediately. Like the steam starts rolling off. This is a really good conductor of heat. So it's kind of cool. And I think the ox blood has pink in it. I think that's why it turned purple with the black. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not a pro, but it's good to learn stuff. And this is all new to me, and I'm still learning. But I figured what little I have learned, I could share. Also learned dye quickly wiped up does come off of granite. Yay. Okay, fire engine. All right. Oh, and those first couple cups, I will put a little activator in. Activator. Slime, then. Citric acid. Like I said, you can use vinegar too. Because I used citric acid in this, I'm just sticking with the one. I don't want any weird, crazy chemical reactions that I don't understand happening. And this one, I will have a lot less a lot less white showing when I'm done, because I'm going to come in and add sprinklings of the other reds within the red spots. So I'll put a little cayenne up here, fire over there, because I really want it to be lots of colors and have lots of depth. But it is looking pretty good so far. Okay, wipe. Wipe as much color off as I can. And then just dry it off because that's how I do it. And dork. Sorry, I don't know what else to say. Alright, and then this is the oxblood. Oxblood there. I'm actually going to now go oxblood right there. Maybe some oxblood right there. Just a little bit, not too much. A lot less. Just to add a few little pieces. And I'm going to dab. Add that depth that I want to the colors. And then just scrub it in. Not quite dyeing it, but so if I were to want to ombre it, instead of doing it this way where I zigzagged it, I'd actually fold it, and then lay it either that way or that way, however thick I folded it, and then start with the one color and ombre it up, which I think I'm going to try because now I'm in an experimenting mind, so that means I need more mesh. Because I only design or make costumes for my daughters. It's not like I have tons of fabric, don't get me wrong. I have a room full of fabric. It's just not a lot of white mesh. Okay, now let's do a smidge of black. No, let's do some cayenne first. I changed my mind. I want to put a little there, and I only got that one finger wet, so I'm going to do, oops, that is cayenne, dum. Nope, and then I used the one finger I shouldn't have. That's okay, I'm almost out of it. Anyways, I'm going to rinse it. Okay, all right, that looks good. Add a little bit more right there, I guess. Let's put a little cayenne right there. I think cayenne was the color I liked, like the absolute best. It was my favorite of that one, I think. The way I did it, I couldn't really tell which color for sure was which, except for that the oxblood made purple. Okay. I'm sure I could be cleaner and neater. It's just not me. Okay, a little bit of fire engine right there. And let's do some right there. Right there. That's good. And then we're going to do some black. Work some of these spots that seem to be still white. So, look. Below there is quite a few whites still, that's fine. There's not a lot of, I'm just going to squish that and try to soak up some of that color. Alright, look, I can add more. Yeah, let's add more. Not too much though. It's deceptive, it's a lie. Okay, let's just add some more of one of the colors. Let's add the rest of the cayenne. And then a little bit more oxblood, I guess. I'll throw some cayenne right here, and then some oxblood over there. Or no, maybe oxblood right there. Yeah. Okay. Not gonna actually zhuzh it in until I get some oxblood in here. It should be good. Because I don't want too much white for the black. Okay, let's do a little fire and then we'll call it good and add the black. Yeah, I fiddle. I can't help it. I fiddle. Orange, and a little bit of this left anyways. That's perfect. Okay. The orange right there. And right there. Okay. That should be good. And then we'll add the black in. I just don't want too much white showing when I add the black. Maybe a little. I don't know. Okay. I'm okay with moving it. I like them to blend. I like the color play. I'm trying to just do it very similarly to the way I did the other one, so that I get different but similar results. Okay, now, but less black. So I go right for the white. I'm like, I'm not gonna put it on white. No, you are. Okay. And one more spot. Maybe a little there. There we go. I think that's enough. I don't want to do too much black. I don't know if I said that enough. So black takes over a lot. Okay. Alrighty. Now we're going to check the underside. There's a lot of dye. I'm going to do what I did yesterday, which is dry my hands off. And I'm going to embrace it as it was the right plan. And I'm going to wipe up some dye so that we don't have too much and all the colors completely blend. I don't want it to completely blend, but I do want it to blend. Alrighty, I'm gonna take these gloves off because they're gross. And then I'm gonna get some water ready and pour it in and do a little citric acid in the water. That will help it adhere. And I don't know why, but I guess citric acid like gets really solid when moisture touches it. So I had it open for a while and now there's like clumps. And actually there was a clump when I first opened it. Alright, now I'm going to try to find a spot. Right here I can see the silver at the bottom. That's where I'm going to pour. Just a little bit, not too much. So. Okay, and that's just to hopefully, I've got the citric acid in here. So when I check it in 10-15 minutes, if I don't feel like these pinks have gone away enough, I will add more red. But we're going to sit and let it really activate and spread. Because it's a little damp, so it will spread. The color will spread. It's not going to end up exactly the way I put it on. which is cool because it's like its own little living thing. All right, that was a long video. I will cut it and then put a piece back together on it and show you when I'm heating it. Okay, bye. And I'm back. I'm gonna add a little bit more water, and then there are still some pink pieces that I don't really want pink. So I am going to add more color. As soon as I add a little bit more. This is just plain water. Okay. I'm gonna add some right here, and right there. And I think I'm gonna call it good. And I think I'm going to add, that's ox blood. Let's do some. Some cayenne up here, some fire up there. Oh, I don't have very much of the, what is it called? What is it called? Fire engine red. But I'm gonna use it till it's gone. This was my main plan for what I wanted to do this holiday weekend, was get their solo costumes done. Their first solo is in March, but I didn't want to do it too soon because they grow sinkers. And I didn't want to wait so long because last minute, I feel like this is already last minute, and they don't have their first solo competition until March. But I'm dealing with it. Hands on it. I'm gonna put a little cayenne red right there too. I see some white cayenne right there, and a little bit right there. Okay. And I don't want to add any more black because the black will try to take over. Okay, this is actually going to be a little bit more squishy too, so we have more water in it. Okay. I'm left-handed, so that is why I'm always using left-handed. So if it looks weird to anyone, I'm dominantly left-handed. I don't know why I mentioned that, but that looks good. Use the rest of that. I think it's fine. I don't have that much built up at the bottom. It's not too bad. And that's with a lot more water, so it's gonna do that anyways. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more water. I think we're ready. I think we're ready to go to the stove. So I'm gonna pause it and rearrange you, and then we'll do the stove. As soon as I dry off my hands, because I'm not touching my phone with dye on my hands. That would be sad and bad. Okay. Over here, realized I forgot to have my ring light on. Yeah, I don't really want to do it to that one. There we go. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm going to pour more water in it, and then I'm going to turn it on. Let's do this, please. I'm going to put way more water in it eventually, but we already have a layer on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. I'm going to start it at almost low. I can already feel it heating up nicely. Put a little bit more water. Oh, I already see some steam rising. And I try to find the spots, because I did it right here, that don't, like there's openings, because that one didn't really have an opening. So that I don't disrupt the dye on the fabric. So I'm making spots. And I'm doing warm water. I'm going to probably put some more citric acid in this water in a minute. Actually, I'll do it now. I don't think you can see anything there. Right here. I'm going to use citric acid and some water. I'm going back over to you. You can hear my water running because apparently I'm wasteful too. Sorry guys. I'm not really set up for videos. Okay, a little bit more citric acid in it. I do not know, I mean, I know there's like a pound of fabric to 1 teaspoon of citric acid, and or a tablespoon of citric acid. I also know I've used more than that. So, it is what it is. I'm going to do more water. Still not quite up to the level I want it. And I'm using this because I don't want to get dye on anything. Because, yeah. I think I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle a little bit more dye in the water. There's some spots that I've poured. I love that a lot of the dye has come off. I know, I'm really scientific, right? Oh man. I'm doing ox blood because we got ox blood left. Okay. Just speckle it. On there. So I feel like it needs a little bit more in some places. Especially right here. It really disrupted the dye. I don't like that. There we go. I think that's okay now. And the dye, I'll use my white spoon so you can see. And I don't know if I called my dye Dharma and Greg or Dharma Trading Company dye, but it's Dharma Trading Company dye. But I always want to say Dharma and Greg because I'm old. But that's the color of the water right now, that red, and that's fine. And especially since I'm not trying to get no white. Well, except for where the rubber bands are. I don't want white. I want the base to be red. I want the base to be multicolors of red. So even though the slurry of color is now one homogeneous color, it's fine. Because like this section's already absorbed the orangish red right here. You can see it. You can see the colors that it's already absorbed. So, I'm put a little bit more water. Pour. This spot that's not taking, like not disrupting the fabric too much. Yeah, it looks good. I will add more water in this. I'm going to do it for about, steamy, cook it for 30 minutes, but maybe 20, but probably 30. I have found like the Chemnitz that learned some of this idea and like kind of went from there. She does at least 30 minutes. I think the mesh absorbs it better and it stiffens the mesh a little. So even after I washed it, the mesh is a little bit stiffer than it was. But I think if I wash it with regular detergent, because I was lazy and I used Dawn, I think if I use regular detergent, it'll soften it back up. I'll find out after I wash it, but I don't want the mesh to burn, basically. And I'm going to turn it down to low because it doesn't need to be any higher than that. We can put aluminum foil over it. It's fine either way. I didn't do it last night, so I'm not going to do it today. But you can do that. All right? I will show you the results later. That's the color of the water. That's the color of that side because there's more black in it. Ooh, look, see the difference right there. That was a big difference. Hurry up. All right, it's been 21 minutes. Ooh, look how light the water is. It's still really light everywhere. Right, 10 more minutes. Get your last minute over. We never need your last minutes. You want one? Would you rather make one? I'll eat the big one. And then I can do it. They're cute though. I have my backpack right here. Kind of neat. Something like that. How light the water is compared to what it was. It's really absorbed most of the color. Now, when Ken did it, her yarn absorbed all the color, and her water was actually clear. Either I may have used too much color, probably, or I ain't got the patience. Although she also let it cool down for 24 hours. She cooked it till over 30 minutes and then let it cool down overnight. And I'm not gonna do that because I don't have the patience. One more minute. So I'll probably rinse this out. I'll move you over there so you can see it too. Cool, right? We gonna see what it looks like. Cold water. Okay, it's much brighter red than the other one was. Look at that. Look at that. All that variation. I don't know where you are, I'm sorry. Look at all that variation. Isn't that pretty? I'm gonna find that really good. Look at that. Hi guys. Hi guys. So good. It looks so good. poisonous ink. Okay, red, black, and white. Oh, look at that. Like, and even got some little white in here. This makes it look like flame. So much variation. Oh, that looks so good. I'm so excited. Okay. I'm gonna check this out with the color. The seeds are slight orange now. My hand, this hand is not used to anything else but color. I literally bought it for this event. I also bought an airbrush machine because I like to do what I want when I want, and I'm stubborn. I was going to get it how I wanted it. I might still use airbrush. Okay, that's mostly clean. Still doing a little bit of light. Yeah, hands are freezing though. A little bit less cold water. That's, oh, look at that variation. It's like a flame. I'm so excited. Doing happy dance. I did happy dance last night when the first one came out, and this one came out good too. This one came out beautiful. My daughter asked, since I was making another one, she's like, can you make me a shirt out of that? She's 8. So I told her, I was like, well, you have to wear a tank top under it because it's mesh. It's completely safe. She's like, no, it's not, because I showed her with 2 layers. And I was like, yeah, it is. Okay, just do a little bit on. Scrub this out. Less cold water because my fingers, I can't feel them. The icicles. And then I try to bring it out as best I can. And I move stuff on my island so that I have a whole island tree. And I will spread it up there. It'll be a dark background, but it'll be good. Should be easy. So, that's how you tie-dye with acid dye. It takes more and less time. So, more time like getting the colors on there and being careful and just cook it. That all takes about an hour. But I didn't wait 24 hours. I just rinsed it right away. And let it sit a little more than the cooking time. That's it. The reason I keep putting it back in the pan is because I want to make sure that there's no color running, if I can see it. There's still just a touch of color. I'm going to get it the best I can. And I will throw it eventually in the wash before I cut it. This looks very much brighter than the other one. Still a little bit of red to it. It's mostly done. One more rinse. So good. Yes. There. I think I hang this over my shower and let the bad boy dry. Yeah, that's not showing too much. Oh, look at that color. Look at all those colors. Okay, I'm gonna pause you. So this is the finished. I think this is the cayenne, sorry. It's like this orangey red. Pretty sure that the oxalate has a little bit more violet in it. And this true red, I think right here, there's a little bit of difference between the two. If you can see the difference, that's more of a true red, and this is an orangey red. And then there's a violet red in here. I think it's that. So my white, even though I pulled it, it didn't really change the, it did on the first one, but I think I didn't pull it enough. Although, see, I got some curves. So that's really cool. That spot is really awesome. So here's the rest of it. See all the black. Sorry, my granite is throwing it off a little. But you can still see a little bit of white right there, which is fine. It's awesome, actually. And then, as soon as I do the dress costume, I will post it. But it's going to take me a hot minute, because there's a lot that I'm going to do to it. You know, sequins, appliques. But this is the skirt of it, and the waist. Like, it's going to be an overlay over like a, not a bra, but a little bit bigger than a bra. And then it's going to have just a mesh stomach, and then it's going to have boy shorts underneath. It's going to be a skirt with different lengths. But there you go. That is how you tie-dye with acid dyes on nylon. You can do it with regular spandex too. It will work. I'm 90% sure. So there you go, guys.